So today we did lesson 19, which is solutions to inequalities in one variable. Pretty soon we'll get to two variables, and that'll be your linear inequalities that we practice in math lab only that one day. But for right now, it's just normal solving when there's only one variable. So the key thing for today's lesson, we're knowing that these steps, the ones I had you write down, what's in purple is the same as when you're solving equations. Okay, so the exact same process. The only difference is anytime you do stuff on both sides of the inequality symbol, you have to see, is it one of those two things that I need to flip the sign for? If it's not, then don't flip the sign. Copy it just like you would in equal sign. All right, but if you are multiplying or dividing a negative on both sides, then that's what you flip. Otherwise, everything else is exactly the same, which you guys could use to practice. I know solving multi-step equations can be hard for some of you. It's a step-by-step process. Yes, there is a lot of room for mistakes, but the more you practice, the fewer mistakes you'll make, ideally before the unit test. So key things here are like knowing your integer rules. A negative times a negative gives me what? What about a positive times a negative? And a positive times a positive? Okay, great. If you don't know that, use a calculator. And then of course, like your inverse operation. If you see that I want to move this, I have to cancel it out. Think about how you make it cancel out. Now I have to be making it 0 so that you don't have to write it anymore. Just those little things like that that we've been practicing for so long. So as always, feel free to ask me for help as you go. It's totally fine. I think some of you just wait till the very end. But make sure you ask, or else I guess we'll just never know. I do check in toward the end of class, but really, like, that's just the ones that you keep getting wrong. You have multiple attempts. Should you use them and you're still not at 80% or higher, just tell me. I'll give you another attempt. As long as I think you're not just guessing. After that, you have probably a lot of things to catch up on. I'm passing back some things from math lab and putting things in your book. So just stay on top of your work. And there's always that IXL extra credit that you can get. Any questions right now? Yes? Yes. Okay, so then this is what you're trying to get 80% or higher on today, and everything else up until this point. Yes? If you need help with lesson 18, this is the one we're looking at. So Jada is making lemonade for a get-together with her friends. She expects a total of 5 to 8 people to be there, including herself. She plans to prepare 2 cups of lemonade for each person. The lemonade calls for 4 cups. Each quart is equivalent to 4 cups. So lots of information there. We'll probably have to read that. It says, let N represent the number of people at the get-togethers, C for cup of water, L for number of scoops of lemonade powder. And we need to select all the mathematical statements that represent the quantities and constraints. This is just like something you'll see on your test. So what I would start with, because they gave you a lot of information, I would start with my answers, and then you have to select all that apply. So in this one, they have C in the middle of some numbers. What is C representing again? The cups of water. So go back and reread for where it mentions cups of water. She wants 2 cups of lemonade for each person. Did they say how many people there would be? Five to 8 people. So she wants 2 cups for 5 to 8 people each. Then if there's only 5 people there, how many cups would she have? If there is 8 people there, how many cups would she have? So you're seeing, does this one make sense? Does she need between 10 and 16 cups? I would actually argue that to make it correct, it needs the little line underneath. Because she needs a minimum 10, a maximum 16. She doesn't need in between it. She needs including the 10 and 16. So I would say don't pick this one because it doesn't have the little line in between. That makes sense so far? So we're not going to pick this one. When I look at the next one, it says L equals C. So let's see. L was standing for what? Number of scoops of lemonade powder, which we know she wanted if we reread it, where he talks about the lemonade powder. She wants 4 scoops of lemonade powder for each quart of water. And know that each quart is equivalent to 4 cups. So what does that end up being per cup? Think about it. No one say it yet. Just think about it. If she wants 4 scoops of lemonade powder for each quart, and there's 4 cups in a quart, then how many scoops of lemonade powder is it for 1 cup? Hey, what do you think? Say it. No one?
4 scoops.
Okay. Do we know the difference between cups and quarts? So we're saying that 1 quart is equal to 4 cups. So you shouldn't be telling me that it's 4 scoops of lemonade powder for 1 cup. You shouldn't be telling me that. I need 4 scoops for 1 quart. So what does that mean for each cup? So side note, 1 quart also has 4 scoops of the lemonade powder. So what does that equal out to per cup? 1 scoop per cup, right? Not 2, not 4. That equals out to, for every 1 cup, is equal to 1 scoop of the lemonade powder, which is 1 L. That's what the 1 scoop is, because it only needs 1 per cup. And then 1 cup. C is the number of cups. So is that what this is saying? Essentially? So then I would pick that one. Because when I do work it out, it is like a 1-to-1 ratio. So then this one, where the N is between them, what does the N stand for? Number of people at the get together. Did they say how many people she expects there? 5 to 8. Is this the right way to represent that? Yes, because it has the little lines underneath to include the 5 and the 8. If it didn't, it would just be whatever is between 5 and 8, not including it. So that does work so far. For this one, the scoops of lemonade powder has it between 10 and 16. So let's see. If we know that she was having either 10 cups to 16 cups, how many scoops of lemonade powder would that be? Remember we said before that for every 1 cup is 1 scoop. So she has 10 cups of lemonade, how many scoops? 10. And then if she has 16 cups of lemonade, how many scoops? So then, is this the right way to represent that she needs 10 to 16 scoops, including those numbers? And then I'm going to take that one. For this one, we have C equals 2N. So remember, C was the number of cups needed. N was the number of people at the get-together. If I multiply the number of people by 2, do I get my right amount of cups? Yeah, that's what we talked about over here. She wants 2 cups of lemonade for each person. So yeah, however many people multiplied by 2, I would pick that one as well. All right, lastly, this one looks really similar to that one. Do we want to click that one as well? No, because it doesn't have the little lines. That one says that it's between 5 and 8 people, not including the 5 and 8. So I'm going to go with those 4 as the answers. Let's see if the key is right. And it is. So yours could be shuffled. Make sure you're picking the right ones. Know the difference between if the lines are there and if not. If the lines are there, then it includes that number. If it doesn't, then it excludes it. So questions on that one? Questions on others? Cadence? On which one? So Han wants to build a doghouse. He makes a list of the materials needed. At least 60 square feet of plywood for the surfaces, at least 30 feet with planks for the frame, between 1 and 2 quarts of paint. Lots of information. We'll probably have to go back and do that. His budget is $65. Some more information that we'll probably have to reread. But we need to pick the inequality that represents the material constraints and cost constraints in the situation. Another select all that apply. So again, when it's like that, I think it'd be easier to take your answers one by one and see, does it make sense? So for the first one, we have a material constraint is P greater than or equal to 60, where P is the area of the plywood in square feet. So reread it for the area of plywood in square feet. Here's where it mentions it. Here's like the cost of it. Nowhere else does it talk about the plywood. So for a material constraint, if he needs at least 60, can he get more than 60? If he needs at least 60. So we're evaluating this one. If he needs at least 60, those are the signal words, can he have more than 60? Can he have exactly 60? So far that looks good. Next one. A material constraint is W less than or equal to 12, where W is the length of the wood plank. So we'll get everywhere where it talks about the wood planks. Nowhere else does it talk about it. So a material constraint, here's where we talk about how much we need. Here's where we talk about how much it costs. So a material constraint would be this. If he wants at least 36 feet of wood planks, does this represent that? No, it's not using the same number. It's not like they're going from like, I don't know, yards to feet or something. They're both feet. W is feet in both situations. So I wouldn't pick that one. I would pick actually W greater than or equal to 36. That wouldn't be this. So then a material constraint is 1 less than or equal to Q, less than or equal to 2, where Q is the quarts of paint. So look everywhere, it talks about the quarts of paint. Talking about a material constraint, so not necessarily the cost. Are we buying between 1 and 2, including the 1 or 2? Like, can I buy exactly 1 quart or exactly 240. So then I would pick that one. A cost constraint is B greater than or equal to 65, where B is his budget. So we have his budget right here explicitly said. Can he spend more than his budget? No, because then you're going over budget. Why would you want to do that? You want to spend less than it or equal to it, not what they have in here. So don't take that. A cost constraint is this, where P is plywood, W is wood planks, U is board paint. So now it's relating to the budget, which is dollar amounts. That's where you now relate it to the dollar amounts that costs. So the plywood was 70 cents. Does 0.7p represent the plywood? Is that the same as saying the plywood is 70 cents? Okay. For the wood planks, that was 10 cents per foot. Is 0.1 W the same? For the paint, it was $8 per quart. Is 8 times Q going to give me the amount for that? Okay. Now, comparing it to the budget, would we want what we spend to be greater or less than our budget? Less than. So this so far looks good. And you can spend exactly the budget too. So that is correct. You want what you're actually spending to be less than your budget or equal to it. So then those three, and when I check my TV, it says none of them are right. So let's see what's going on. Maybe it has like all of them to be right, but which ones? Oh, this is right. Is it not? Let me check the other key, but I'm tempted to fix it to where it includes that one. So I'll check that one later, but I'll at least make it to where it gives you partial credit for now. And I do think that is correct. So we'll see. I'll check that. All right, other questions? On anyone? Dan?
The lesson 19 version 1.
Okay, so we're reading about that. Select all the equations and inequalities that could represent the differences. Where n is number of people attending and n is number of we might actually make this one, but there's too many options here. But would multiplying 3 by the number I hate choice. I maybe it's equal than 1 now. So actually, it's like suicide. All my other kind of people